for your product or service. As your product or service becomes more widely available, you can gradually lower your prices to attract a wider customer base. Bundling pricing. This involves offering multiple products or services together at a discounted price. This can be an effective way to encourage customers to purchase more from your business and increase your sales. Monitor and adjust your prices. Finally, it's important to monitor your prices and adjust them as needed. This can involve tracking your sales and profitability, monitoring changes in the market, and keeping an eye on your competitors' pricing strategies. If you find that your prices are too high, you may need to lower them to remain competitive. On the other hand, if you find that your prices are too low, you may need to increase them to ensure that you are covering your costs and generating a profit. Let's delve deeper into each of the 5 ways that businesses can effectively price their products or services. Understand your costs. The first step in pricing your product or service is to understand your costs. This includes not only the direct costs of producing the product or delivering the service, but also indirect costs such as overhead and marketing expenses. By understanding your costs, you can ensure that you are pricing your product or service in a way that covers your expenses and generates a profit. To calculate your costs, you can use a cost accounting system. This involves identifying all the direct and indirect costs associated with producing your product or delivering your service. Once you have calculated your costs, you can use this information to determine the minimum price you need to charge to cover your expenses and generate a profit. It's important to regularly reevaluate your costs to ensure that your pricing strategy is still effective. For example, if your costs increase due to rising production or material costs, you may need to adjust your prices to maintain profitability. Conduct market research. Another important factor in pricing your product or service is to conduct market research. This involves analyzing the prices of similar products or services in the market. By understanding what your competitors are charging, you can ensure that you are pricing your product or service competitively. Market research can also help you identify the value that your product or service provides to customers. This value can be based on factors such as quality, convenience, or uniqueness. By understanding the value that your product or service provides, you can price it accordingly to reflect its worth. To conduct market research, you can use a variety of methods such as surveys, focus groups, or online research. This will help you understand what customers are willing to pay for your product or service and what factors influence their purchasing decisions. You can also monitor customer reviews and feedback to gain insights into what they value most about your product or service. Consider your target market. Another important factor in pricing your product or service is to consider your target market. Different customer segments may have different price sensitivities and preferences. By understanding your target market, you can tailor your pricing strategy to meet their needs. For example, if your target market is price sensitive, you may need to price your product or service lower than your competitors to attract their business.